this video is for you if you feel like you can't find success no matter what you try. I'm sure you've by now heard a million times the importance of having a vision, the importance of showing up, the importance of knowing that like things take time and it might take years and years to see results, and that successful people don't give up, etc. Those things are true, but they are not the only elements of successful people. There are many people that just happen to be in the right place at the right time. There are people that have fame overnight just from having like a video go viral. There are people that are just born into success. There are many other instances of success that don't involve those particular characteristics. And then when you see someone else achieving success, hardly working at all, it can just reinforce that feeling that you're a failure and that nothing you do matters or is going to make any kind of a difference. So I personally know how discouraging it can be to constantly be told that you're not achieving success because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Whether you're not getting up early enough, you're not talking to the right people, you're not wearing the right clothes, you're not trying hard enough. The list really goes on and on. I personally struggled for years and years to try to become like a successful musician. And I had all of the elements that I was supposed to have. Like I got up at 4 a.m. sometimes. I would play for 8 hours a day. I marketed myself. I talked to people. I showed up to gigs. Never had a negative review, etc. But each time like an opportunity presented itself that could possibly either allow me to have more money or to work less, having the same amount of money, it just fell through. In one instance, I was contacted by MTV and asked to be a guest on one of their shows. And there were several correspondences and then they just randomly stopped. In another, I was confronted by a famous pop star's manager who asked if I would be willing to go on tour. And again, it just didn't work out. Those are just two kind of major instances, but there were many others. And long story short, after 8 years of just really, really, really working my butt off and like just putting in my all and, following my dream or whatever, like I was like, I can't do this anymore, like I can only take so much. So I basically just quit and then just started waiting on tables. So the reason I'm sharing this is because it's only recently that I am starting to uncover what I believe to be what was fundamentally blocking me from any kind of success for a very long time. So the first visceral realization of what was blocking me during all those years came to me during one of my meditations. While I was meditating, this memory kind of popped out of nowhere of being in kindergarten and just sitting there with my two classmates who both had these like giant boxes of crayons, and each crayon like had like 3 colors. Like there was like rose pink, carnation pink, like it was insane. They had so many colors. But the color that really stood out to me in that memory was copper, because it was just such a unique color and there was no way of combining like the basic colors to make it. And I at the time just had like the 5-pack of like the big Crayolas, like the minimum requirement, to go to kindergarten art class. And I just remember like in my meditation, I felt so like sad that like I didn't have those colors. And my classmates weren't really the nicest people, so like they never shared with me. But that same day, my classmate forgot that little piece of copper crayon on the table, and I was so happy to have like just to hold it. And even though I never intended on keeping it for long, I put it in my cubby just to know it was there. And for whatever reason, I was just so happy it was there. And then when I finally decided to give it back, because I was taught not to steal, I was just really, really, really sad about it. And it sounds like a silly memory, but the reason I'm sharing this is because in my meditation, I literally realized that feeling of not having those colors was like, sorry, was like the same feeling I had felt like all those years playing music. It was just, I just felt that like I couldn't have all the crayons, you know. It was just, I didn't know why it was, but it's just part of my reality. I just always accepted it. Like I was the person that didn't get all the colors. And in some weird way, like I think that that was like really what a big part of why I felt so blocked from just being able to get like, you know, more money or like in a better situation, you know, and why it was so hard is because there was just this feeling at a very young age that I just, you know, it's not something that I can have. And you know, it's just only recently beginning to realize that like you know, I can have all the colors, and it's made like a huge difference in my life. So I just wanted to share it like with anyone, you know, if that could be something that is, you know, preventing you from success, especially if it's something that you've been like trying for like years and years and years, and you put in the effort and you're, you know, you're going for it, you're making the time, and it's still not happening. You know, sometimes it's like, it's so prevalent, just this feeling of like, you know, this can't happen to me, or other people get all the colors, you know, they get to have the crayons, and you know. So that was one, you know, one thing that I believe was blocking my success, and could possibly be yours if you're experiencing the same thing, where it's just like, you know, just completely just like running against the same wall no matter what you try. So the second belief, or what I believe is, you know, could be holding you back from success, is that this belief that like life has to be a struggle. This for me, I've only also recently come to believe, and it's strange because it was such an internal, inherent like fact for me. I never even like thought of it as a belief, but now I'm beginning to realize that like it really is. Like we're so, like most people, not everyone of course, but most people are just taught that like life is a struggle. Like, you know, you have to like get up and go to work and like earn your 2 days off or whatever, you know, and that even if you get like a little bit of like vacation time, like you're always going back to the struggle, you know. That's just what life is. And I think that it's very, very common belief, and I think most people have it, but it's so common that it doesn't even feel like a belief. It feels like a fact, you know. But I mean, the truth is life isn't always struggle. Like there's people that don't really struggle at all, you know, and it's a good thing. Like more and more, there are more people that aren't struggling, and I think that ultimately, like, it's a good thing that like we're going in this direction in the planet where like more people are finding freedom and, you know, living the lives they want. It's a wonderful thing, but there's still this like powerful belief that like we have to struggle, you know. If we're not struggling, we're doing something wrong, you know. So that was just like my two latest like revelations, you know. I feel like that was part of the reason too, all those years, like, you know, I just couldn't seem to get out of that cycle, because if I were to make more money, or if I were to like, you know, get like a better gig where I wasn't working as much, like it wouldn't be as much as a struggle. So, you know, like I've unconsciously, but yet consciously at the same time, I think I was sort of like just blocking that because it went against what I believed life was, you know. So in so many years that was my reality, but I'm starting to change that, and it's, you know, it's been a lot of work in the sense of like working with like, you know, like my beliefs, like that's not easy. Like I've been doing it a really long time, and I know for a fact for me it's not easy. So I just want to share that with you, and hopefully it can be helpful. Let me know what you think. Okay.